and feeling very different from before. When I was 15 to menopause, I was waiting for all these problems to come, and they didn't come. So that was very strange for me. So menopause is like a problem in this society. But I did feel very different. What I felt very different was emotionally and energetically. And it was harder for me to continue my crazy, dynamic life. I still kept doing that for a while, and then you get into some problems. I also noticed that in society, getting older is a topic you don't talk about, and dying even less. And there is some tendency of in this society to stay young even when you get older. And sometimes it's funny and sometimes it's really nice, like this 90-year-old lady on YouTube with 2 hip replacements doing yoga, and it gets millions of likes. But I think this is not the natural way. I think when you grow older, your energy changes and shifts, and there is something that comes up which I find lacking in our society now, namely the notion of stillness. I had a privilege that the people that died near to me were old, and the process of dying was wonderful. So I was thinking about growing older and dying, and how to make it more comfortable for myself in the first place, and what are the challenges. I think most of you have studied the 5 transformations and know the cycles of life, and I've written them on the paper, so you can look them up. So after 50, it's like we are in the autumn of our life, and it's like the fruits we get. So life becomes a bit more relaxing. We see our kids growing, doing a lot of things. Some we like, some we don't, but they make their life, which is wonderful. And then we come into more the last stage, which I call the mental stage, and which is actually a moment where stillness comes into life. People who've been meditating from young, they know that already, but in our hectic society, that's not something that's on the front page. And in this stage, when you come near to passing on, this stillness really brings up a lot of new information. And if you experience someone who is in that stage, it's the most beneficial thing. I remember last year, one of our friends and students, Jan Roos, died. And he was a very special man who had come from psychiatry, through macrobiotics. Rick knows him very well. Very dynamic guy. And I think 5 years ago we did an interview with him. He's always laughing and smiling. The older he got, the more he was smiling. And at one moment the interviewer said, "Well, it seems like you're not here in this world anymore." And he says, no, I'm traveling up and down. And my 80-year-old father said that too. He was very different in the last years of his life. I think this is something that is so valuable for us. But there are some challenges. There is a materialistic view of our society where dying should not exist, where sagging breast should not exist. You should always look young. And it's understandable because we are in this, I think, the 81-year cycle of fire, where everything has to be bright and young. And to go deeper, it's not so easy, so we have to pay attention to that. And another challenge is the family structure. It's not generations being together, experiencing different stages of life. We're all in the same peer group. And in the family structure, there is also a lot of ruptures, new families. Communication is more like on Facebook and on our iPhones than in person. And then the third, which is the most important one in my experience, was there is a climatic change. in the sense we are all living in a hot climate. And with hot, I mean we warm our houses. So I'm not talking about the big climate change, which is also happening. Our houses are so hot, and we avoid anything that's cold. Our vegetables, the organic ones, are grown in hot houses, so they're very yin. And I think it's wonderful. We're out in Berlin, and it's nice and cold. And I heard that the Berlins have lunch outside, even in the cold, with a coat on. Because I think exposure to cold is a natural way to grow old graciously. I've experimented with some things. Experiment with some courses with Wim Hof, crazy guy, but very interesting to do, ice baths, and also with breathing, because we are who we breathe. I have found stunning examples with Buteyko and Stans van der Poel, of people who healed themselves just by changing breathing. And Jan will explain more about that very soon. So I thought this was something that I wanted to share, because we grow older, our body will ache, we will get something somewhere, because it's a natural process. And from that stillness that we develop, also new projects will come, and new ways of living together, new ways of taking care of each other, which will not be on the mainstream. It's wonderful, there is this eco-village. My son lives in a co-housing project with 15 families. About 10 are young people, 3 are old couples, and 2 are handicapped persons. And it's incredible, the energy, and the kids love it there because they have a big garden. And all the families had to give up private space for this project to be payable. So they have very little private space, very little house. There's very big communal space. Okay. So, I've written a paper. There's some things I need to change, some things which are, the scribbles are not right there, because I'm not a good designer. But that's what I wanted to share, and I will invite Jan now to do the next part. Thank you.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
I want to share something with you that I discovered, and it's something that is existing already a long time. And so there's breathing exercises, and so we do 2 breathing exercises. So the first one, just sit comfortable. And the basic thing about breathing is you don't have to do anything, because it goes by itself. So if you just close your eyes, you sit comfortable, and you just observe your breathing. And you will notice that you're breathing in, you're breathing out. And you notice that by breathing in, the gravity goes a little bit up, breathing out goes down. Also, you experience that when you breathe in, there's a little bit more tension, but when you breathe out, you can relax more. Now what's happening? It's a very interesting process. We're breathing in new energy, and what we don't need goes out. The blood is transporting the oxygen and the food to every cell, and all the cells are like atomic plants. They're creating energy. Now, if you want this to be even more successful, then you feel as if everything is breathing. Every cell, everything in your body is expanding a little bit when you breathe in, and everything is relaxing when you breathe out. Now, if you observe this process, then you will feel that everything is breathing in and out, but maybe some parts are not particularly being part of the rest, because it's a bit stuck, your shoulders, or any kind of part in your body. So if you go with the concentration to one of these parts, or even your shoulders, and try to feel particularly in that spot how things are moving, with breathing in and breathing out. And things that are not moving, with your breathing, you can move it again, being part of the whole. So just with doing nothing, but just being conscious about what's happening. The things that are stagnated become alive again. Okay, so this is the first exercise. So now we came across breathing techniques that started actually with Dr. Buteyko, a Russian doctor in the 50s in Russia, and he's using this technique for people with asthma and a lot of different things. And now it's booming in Holland, where someone was writing books about that, already sold about 100,000 books. And it's a breathing technique that is very good for anything, for everything, for older people and for young people, but also for athletes, because now top athletes are using this kind of breathing. And it's a breathing to get more oxygen into the finer capillary, the finer parts of your breathing system, to get more oxygen with using less air. So some people are breathing like 20 times a minute. And if we can reduce the breathing by using less air, but taking more oxygen out of the air, so our body will function a lot better and our heart will go slower. So actually when I discovered this for my running techniques, I was running faster with heart beating lower. So I wanted to share this with Chico, but now I'm happy to share it with everyone. And he will be glad too, but he doesn't need oxygen anymore, I guess. So anyway, just relax, and the thing is, you even have to do less than before. So if you just sit calm and observe your breathing in, you're breathing out. Don't make any effort, it goes by itself. So you breathe in, you breathe out. But when you breathe out, you just wait a little bit. So the breathing in should be comfortable, the breathing out should be comfortable, but then you wait. And that should be comfortable too. So in a way that when you breathe in again, you don't have to make an effort to breathe more. So everything should be in balance. Breathing in, breathing out, waiting. So this is the base of a lot of different breathings. But by this breathing, there's gradually your body will absorb more oxygen than before. And with this breathing, you can check if this breathing is okay when your heart beating is getting slower. Another part of the breathing, what's important is that you breathe through your nose. Because when you're breathing through the nose, there's a little bit more tension in your lungs than when you open your mouth, you breathe through so when you breathe through the mouth, there's no tension. And this tension is necessary because it helps you to create more balance between the CO2 and the oxygen. So the other example how to understand this, someone who has a
Hyperventilating?
Yeah. So what do? You give him a plastic bag to breathe because there's too much oxygen. And there is the balance between oxygen and CO2 is not okay. So you give him a plastic bag and it becomes okay. So this breathing is so interesting because a lot of athletes, they go to train on the heights because there's less oxygen there. So you don't have to go there, you can do it with breathing. There are athletes who are sleeping in a special tent. It's not necessary, you can do that with the breathing. So if you study a little bit more about this by your Google Potato and everything that's connected with that, and especially Stans van der Poel, because she proves it in a scientific way how it works. For example, also one of the things that she discovered is like it's the rhythm of the heart. Of course, the breathing goes like this, but between the heartbeats, is every time it's a little bit different. If your heart beating is normal, but exactly the same time, your heart is a little bit stuck. And if it's a little bit different, then your heart is adapting more easily to the situations. By this kind of breathing, your heart becomes more flexible. So, if it's for people who are afraid for anything, their breathing goes more up. With this breathing, it's slowing down. It's really interesting to study a little bit about that. And life is about study, about balance and adaptation. And we know a lot about food, and of course, the quality of your food will improve even your breathing a lot more if you have the right and the good quality of minerals. So food is important, but this kind of breathing technique is also very interesting to introduce people who need it. And even in shiatsu, one of the basic things about breathing is when you start shiatsu, it's like breathing out. You help someone to breathe out, and you hold it a little bit. It's very comfortable. So you seduce someone in shiatsu with helping to breathe in a very normal, natural way. So anyway, I hope it inspires you a little bit, and thank you very much.